Hi, I'm Mikhail, and we're here at the Artist Centre with the incredible Nita Strauss. How are you going?
So good. How are you?
That's good. Very good. So how's your time in Australia been?
It's been amazing.
Yep.
It's been definitely a very surreal trip. I've played here with Alice several times, and each time is a ton of fun. But this one was really especially special, not only because we got to do so many shows and I've gotten to do so many clinics, but we did also play the Bushfire Relief show, the Firefight benefit, and that was just an incredible experience in itself, getting to do what we love and helping raise such a massive amount of money. So all in all, it's been a very, very, very cool trip.
Cool. And what's it like playing with the godfather of shock rock?
It's amazing. Alice, if you've seen Wayne's World, you've met Alice Cooper. He's exactly like he is in Wayne's World. Really funny, knowledgeable, sweet, sweet person.
Yep.
Very humble, very, very cool, and we learn a lot from being in a band with him.
Cool. And so how was the Firefight in general? Was it a good experience?
Incredible experience, yeah. I mean, to get to do something that we love to do already and help such a great cause. I think we heard they raised $10 million for the Bushfire Relief. You don't have to twist my arm to open up for Queen any day. And it was really fun. We had a great time. Short set, you know, 4 songs. We were kind of in there and out of there before we realized what was happening. And we definitely did not realize the magnitude of what was going on.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
It was pretty big. Being there in the stadium felt big, but no one really had explained to us the magnitude of the TV. I got off stage and I heard someone say 24 million viewers watching.
Wow.
And I was like, did you just say 24 million?
That's crazy.
And so I'm kind of glad we didn't know that beforehand, because it would have been just a little more pressure. But it was so much fun, and getting to see Queen. I got to talk to Dr. May for a few minutes before the show, and it was just an incredible experience overall.
And let's talk about this strap, the
Yes.
limited edition Australian strap.
Yeah. So this is sort of, I guess, the Bushfire Relief edition of my signature strap. So obviously my signature strap with Levy straps was released this year at NAMM. It looks really similar to this. It's actually, this came out first. We sort of rushed this one in first just because of the urgency of the situation. We had this idea to go ahead and raise some money for Bushfire Relief. So we made a special Australian version. We've got the Australian flag and the colors here. We do have a hidden kangaroo.
I saw that.
And also a hidden koala.
Which looks a bit teddy bear-esque.
I know, it is really teddy bear-esque. Oh, actually, this is probably his doing. 100% of the profits from this will go to helping the Port Macquarie Koala Hospital.
Yeah. How did that come about?
So actually the beginning of the fundraising started when obviously the bushfires was such a massive deal around the world. The biggest deal here, of course, in Australia, but it really was heard around the world, and the cries for help were really, we took notice everywhere.
Yeah.
So what's something that I can do that's not necessarily the most popular one, that's somebody that might really need the assistance? So I found Port Macquarie and everything they were doing, and at that time they were really just still sort of taking care of their own koalas, like the wounded koalas that were coming in from the brush. Since then, they've actually also become the target of a ton of massive fundraising, and they're now opening, they have water stations in the affected areas that the koalas can go, the ones that they don't necessarily bring into the hospital, that they can just go and drink themselves, and they've got a truck that's going to refill the water and all this kind of stuff. So it's a really fun thing to be a part of, rather than just saying like, hey, I'm going to throw it at, a sort of nameless organization.
Charities.
The big charities, exactly. Help out a plucky little koala sanctuary.
Everyone loves koalas. Everyone
does love koalas, especially me.
So let's talk about this guitar.
Yes.
This amazing guitar.
So this is my signature guitar, the Ibanez Jeeva. This is my personal one, but it actually is a factory line. I know a lot of people, one of the first questions that I get asked is, what's different about your guitar than the ones that people buy online? And their answer is absolutely nothing. The strap walks. That's literally
the only not stock thing.
The only not stock thing, and it's a it's a $20 change if anybody wants to do that. But besides that, mine is completely stock, made in the same factory, off the same line. It's a mahogany body, quilted maple top, ebony fretboard. It's got my signature inlay, which is the beaten path.
And it gets more rapid as you go up.
It does, exactly. So the spikes of the heartbeat of the EKG line correspond to the regular fret markers, 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, and so forth. I've always found that with custom fretboards, they can be a little bit hard to follow.
Yeah,
sometimes. True. You sort of lose your place if you don't have those markers. So
just for the sake of being pretty.
Totally, exactly.
Yeah.
I've got a couple custom fretboards like that. I've got some neck illusions, and I have a couple gems and stuff. And sometimes I lose the 12.
Yeah, fair enough.
So this makes it really easy to find, and it's also got the luminescent side dots, the lumen layers.
Yeah.
You won't be able to really see it right now, but they charge up with an LED.
Right.
So my tech Brian uses a flashlight, of course, to do it. But if I'm doing a clinic and I don't have a tech with me, I use my phone. You can use the flashlight on your phone.
So you actually have to charge it up?
You do charge it up,
Right.
yeah. It's just like, sort of like the glow-in-the-dark stickers you put on your wall as a kid. It's very much like that. So you charge it up for literally about 2 or 3 seconds per one. So you just go boop.
Very
boop,
high tech.
Boop, boop. And little known fact, it's not really like a publicized part of this, but it actually will charge with stage lights. So as long as you have LED stage lights, it will keep them charged.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, super cool feature. These are my signature pickups, the DiMarzio Pandemonium. The middle single coil is a DiMarzio True Velvet.
Yep.
But these guys, I worked very hard with the team at DiMarzio to design. They are standalone pickups, so you can get them if you're, crazy and not an Ibanez person.
Yeah.
But you can get them for your own guitar if you're not ready to make the full investment to a Jiva, but you want that tone.
That
they
sound,
are available from DiMarzio as well. And it's the Edge 02 bridge, which I love. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that finish.
Beautiful, right?
What's that actually called? Is it a...
It's called Deep Space Blonde.
Ah, like yourself.
Yeah, the first time my mom saw my signature guitar, she had tears in her eyes and she said, "Oh, honey, your guitar looks just like you." And I guess that's true. I guess it does. I wanted something that was really kind of classic looking. I didn't want to go overly flashy because I may be a flashy performer, but I'm not really flashy in my aesthetic.
Yep.
I'm not out there wearing the wildest clothes or the shortest skirts or the sparkliest makeup or anything. Like, I'm pretty subdued and subtle, and I wanted sort of a subdued, classic, sexy look.
Actually, I was going to ask, with those HSH pickups, how come you went for that configuration?
I love an HSH.
Yeah.
I really do.
It's a classic Ibanez.
Yeah, I use the middle pickup a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more than probably most like rock guitar players do.
Yeah.
I actually use all 5 pickup configurations pretty not equally. I shouldn't say equally.
Yeah.
Not at all equally. But I do use them all at different points, especially during the Alice Cooper set. The single coil is really valuable for especially the early Alice, like the 70s stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds really, really nice on that True Velvet.
Yep.
Of course, you need, a nice, tight, solid bridge pickup for the majority of it. And I do a lot of soloing on the neck pickup, especially the sort of, the Kane Roberts, the 80s stuff, sweeps and the tapping and stuff. I love doing that on the neck pickup. So I utilize the whole spectrum pretty well.
So is this like the guitar when you're playing live, or do you sort of grab a bunch and...
No, this is the one, actually. So the 2 new Jivas came out at NAMM this year, the Jiva Junior and the Jiva X. So now they're pretty well rotated throughout the set. This one and the Jiva X kind of taking priority because one's got to be in drop D.
Yeah, right.
So the Jiva Junior's in drop D. I play that for the first song out of the gate.
Yeah.
And then it's really between this one and the Jiva X.
Wow. So you can do the whole set on this guitar?
I could easily.
Yeah.
I just like to play different guitars because I'm spoiled.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I would have no problem playing the whole set with this guitar because, like I showed you, it doesn't really go out of tune.
Yeah.
Even with the humidity and the temperature change and the pressure change in the airport cabin and the airplane cabin, it still did not go out. And now I'm kind of like testing it. Now I want to see how long it's going to take for it to go out of tune. I'll probably tune it before the clinic, but.
Because you really thrashed that, the whammy.
Oh yeah.
The tremolo.
That's my favorite part of my clinic is showing that trem off, is like really picking the guitar up by the bar, shaking around, smacking on my knee a couple times, then going back to the clean sound and playing an open chord.
Yeah.
And
it's still there.
And it's still there.
Yeah.
I do it during the Alice show every single show.
Yeah.
And I do it at, I end my solo like that and we go straight into the next song. I would have to tune my, like imagine if I had to tune my guitar in between those, it would never work.
Totally, yeah.
So yeah, this thing's a workhorse. I'm exceedingly proud of it.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah, I actually think that's like a really big part of your sound is the...
It is.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why I'll never release a hardtail.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Yeah.
And I realize there's demand for it.
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be a real signature model if we did it, I feel like. I think a signature model should always be that guitar player's dream guitar.
Yeah.
This is my Goldilocks. Like, this
Yeah.
is my Goldilocks guitar. This is the guitar I've dreamed of designing in my head since I started playing guitar.
Yeah.
And if I was just like, well, people will pay for a fixed bridge, so let's make a fixed bridge, that's not fair. That's,
true.
You know, I'm not going to do that. So it'll always be a guitar that I would play myself.
Yeah, cool. And so how did the relationship with Ibanez start in the first place?
So I've been an Ibanez artist since 2008, and honestly, all my heroes are Ibanez players.
Yeah.
You know, Vice, Satriani, Paul Gilbert. Like, you know, growing up flipping through guitar magazines, every single guitar player that I looked up to had a swoosh on the headstock.
Yeah.
And I had my first meeting with Ibanez in 2008. They took a chance on kind of a young, up-and-coming guitar player. And at the time, I was actually the only girl on the USA roster, period, on the USA guitar roster. And then 10 years later, in 2018, I became the first female signature artist.
Yeah, wow.
Which is still...
So many firsts.
It's still very mind-blowing to get to say that sentence. And now there's a second one, Yvette Young now has a signature Ibanez out, which is really, really cool to have sort of... I'm glad that I was able to open the door, and hopefully I was the first of many, many to come.
Do you have any advice for young female guitarists wanting to...
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
And honestly, to be perfectly honest, my advice for young female players would be the same for young male players or older musicians wanting to get into playing, or anybody at all. And that is that, you know, obviously playing music is a tough career path.
Yes.
It looks really fun. It's like being a beauty influencer on YouTube. Like, it looks fun and easy, but, you know, we make it look fun and easy on the outside to kind of not discourage people from doing it. It's a grind. It's a hard grind. You have to get used to people saying no. You have to get used to, especially in this day and age, the internet, you know, the trolls on the internet.
Totally.
Don't take anything that anybody says online too seriously, whether it's complimentary or whether it's negative. You know, all the compliments in the world online don't make you a better guitar player. All the negativity in the world doesn't make you a worse guitar player. Just go out there, work hard, and prove your supporters right, prove your doubters wrong.
Yeah.
You know, as a female, you will definitely get looked at under a harsher microscope.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the one piece of advice I would give differently is, you know, it's much more of a big deal, it feels like, at least to me, to have a bad show. Because you're sort of instantly painted with that brush.
Yeah.
And maybe having a bad day is a little bit of a bigger deal, you know. There's all the stereotypes that you come up with if a girl's in a bad mood.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm not letting any of that stuff get to you, and just, you know, be prepared for rejection, be prepared to have bad shows, and most importantly, play as much as you can in front of as many people as you can.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guitar players in this day and age kind of get caught up in the YouTube and the Instagram, and it's important. I'm the first one to say Instagram's great.
Yeah.
I
saw you before.
I love the gram. But you can't just do it for the gram.
Totally.
You have to also get out there. You know, it doesn't substitute playing guitar in front of people.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's why we do it. To tour, to play concerts, to play shows. And all the amount of practicing and posting videos doesn't prepare you for playing with actual eyeballs looking at you.
Yeah.
So that's been the biggest thing for me, just play as much as you can.
Do you still like practice at home a lot, or are you sort of...
Yeah.
It's all just stage time?
I do. I practice at home, but my practice time now is really sort of lasered in on what I'm doing next.
Yeah.
So right now I'm getting ready to, I'm actually well in the middle of recording my second album.
Yep.
So for me right now, my practice time is really focused in on technique. Like, what's something I don't know how to do that I can learn? What are some sweeps I've never done before, or some scales I've never used before, some modes that I don't experiment with as much? Because I don't want to just make a controlled chaos copy. I want to make a second album that stands on its own. So that's where my practice habit is at right now. When I get home from this tour next week, I'm going straight into recording. I'm going to try to have the bulk of the recording kind of completed, like the bulk of the song structure is completed.
Cool. Second album.
Second album.
Awesome.
So it's been going great so far.
Uncontrolled chaos.
Uncontrolled chaos, exactly. That's how this first one felt. And then I'll have 2 weeks home to do that. So I'm going to try to just really put my head down and work on those 2 weeks. Once that's done, I'm going to take a few days to go over the Alice set, because I'll be going back on tour with Alice. And then after that, we've got, I think, 3 months of work with Alice straight. We're going out in the USA with Tesla and Lita Ford, which is really fun.
Cool.
So I'll be going over those songs and then back into finishing up the record.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. What advice would you have for people to find their voice on guitar?
It's a great way of phrasing that, finding your voice. I am a really emotional guitar player. At times, I wish I was more precise, a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I think technique and precision is something that you practice at home.
Yeah.
And then when you're out on stage, you have to sort of trust your muscle memory to do that.
Yeah.
And really focus on the performance and giving the audience the best performance that you can. Because at the end of the day, like, I've seen Vi, I've seen Satriani, I've seen Paul Gilbert, you know, I've seen Marty Friedman, I've seen all my, you know, my heroes, the best guitar players in the world.
And they all have a sound as well.
And they all have a sound,
Yeah.
but they've all, like, I'm sure I've never seen a perfect show.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if anyone except maybe Vi has ever played a perfect show.
Yeah.
But you don't walk out of a Steve Vai show going, man, it would have been a good show if he had just missed, you know, if he had just gotten that one bend, it was a little flat, or, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're not there at the show looking for errors. You're not there at the show looking for mistakes. You're there to be entertained, to, you know, watch the band, to put on a show and tell a story.
Yeah.
And I think that's become a big part of my sound, the Straussian
The
sound.
Straussian sound.
Is like sort of imparting that emotion, that energy,
Yeah.
and the performance into everything that you do, and making it exciting instead of just like, this is a Phrygian scale.
Totally, yeah, because it's that human element that really,
Exactly.
you know, that people respond to. So,
I think people would rather see me have fun and
Yeah.
hit a wrong note than see me stand perfectly still and stress out and
Yeah.
play everything perfectly.
So let's talk about the GT1000.
Yes, I would love that.
Because it's very lean, your setup.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
got the Jiva and you've got the GT1000, and that's about it.
That is literally it.
Yeah.
This is my clinic setup. This is my solo tour setup. This is what I use anytime I do a big event. Like, I do use this at WrestleMania. I use this to play the national anthem.
Yeah.
I use this to play the Sunday Night Football theme at the
Wow.
LA Rams game. Basically, everything big that I've ever done outside of like a full Alice Cooper tour was done directly through the GT1000.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
It's pretty wild.
Plug it straight in.
Yeah, so 2 XLR cables out to a DI box out to front house.
Yeah.
1 1/4-inch cable into the guitar. And it does everything that you would possibly need.
That you
I
can
feel
imagine.
like everything you can imagine.
Thousands of sounds.
Every sound, every pedal, every
Yeah.
effect. You know, the expression pedal, you know, from a wah to a slicer to a whammy to
Yeah.
like an octaver to a harmonizer, you know.
Yeah.
I've been doing clinics for Boss on the GT1000 for 2 years, and I still haven't gotten through all the menus.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I used it on Controlled Chaos for a lot of the sort of acoustic sounds. I use it a lot, really live for anything that I need. It's also got some beautiful sounding synths.
Yeah, I
which-
heard that before. That was amazing.
Crazy,
I was like,
right?
Where's
that coming from? I'm not a very cerebral guitar player.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I just sort of do. And when I'm on stage and I'm going, okay, my solo is coming up. It's, you know, I've got 4 bars, so let's see. All right, we're going to turn the compressor off. We're going to turn the reverb on. This,
Yeah.
delay on, and boost, and then we solo.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't do it.
I know.
Let me just hit one thing that does all the things.
And there's a crowd out there as well, so you don't want to be looking at your pedal board.
The shoegaze.
The shoegaze, yeah, that's where it came from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't think there's one right way to do it, but for me, my style, that's the right way,
Yeah, cool.
for sure.
Awesome. And are you like constantly tweaking your sound, or is it sort of set now? Yeah.
I'm not that like quest for tone. I mean,
Yeah.
I am when I don't have it,
Yeah.
but honestly, the GT1000 settings that I use are factory.
Wow.
And
cool.
the reason why I do that is really like, you know, to keep it simple, especially for clinics.
Yep.
My personal one is still factory settings that I use. Sometimes I'll play around with different harmonizers and stuff for different stuff I'm doing. But a lot of times when I see a clinician demonstrate a piece of gear, I then go out and try out that piece of gear and it sounds nothing like it. I go,
Yeah,
well, how
right.
did you get that sound? Like,
Yep.
I'm doing this, I'm turning knobs and oscillating things and it's not doing what they did.
Yep.
So anybody that comes and sees my clinic and likes the sound of the GT1000, they can get those exact sounds straight out of the box.
Straight away, yeah.
With zero tweaking. You know, I post these presets all the time. I'm happy to, you know, if anyone ever says, hey, I got it, what do you use? I say, ba 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 ba. It's a 12 string. It's a 57 rec. There's one called Shred Lead. That's my
nice.
go-to. That synth is, I think it's just called Guitar Synth 1.
Yep.
Really romantic name.
Very romantic.
You should call it Deep Space Synth or something. I don't know
Yeah.
where I came up with that.
I love all those Ibanez names for colors.
It's
It was
cool,
like
right?
nebula, acid,
Acid
green,
rain.
or whatever.
Yes. So yeah, Deep Space Blonde was my idea, and then the blue Jiva is actually Deep Sea Blonde, which is cool. The blue to blonde Jiva
Cool.
Jr. Yeah. I
Awesome.
like special names.
Actually, I was going to ask about music theory. Do you think that's really important as a guitar player?
I think having a basic grasp definitely is beneficial.
Yeah.
Is it a make or break? I think not. I'm totally self-taught. Everything I know about modes, I learned from Frank Gambale, Modes No More Mystery.
Yeah,
and
right.
I forgot most of that.
Yeah.
But I think the basic modes are really great for a lead guitar player to know.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good tool to have in your toolbox. That being said, I know some of the greatest guitar players in the world don't know all that stuff. If you watch Marty Friedman, Exotic Metal Scales, I think he says at one point, he goes, "This is a scale that I made up."
Yeah.
And I think it is an existing scale that some guitar players, like your doctor friend, would probably know and be able to say, actually, this is a Hungarian Phrygian minor. But you know, if someone like Marty Friedman's going, "Hey, I'm making stuff up and it sounds good," who are we to say that Marty Friedman's wrong? I'm not going to tell him he's wrong.
Totally. Yeah, I suppose that's the same with Hendrix as well. He was all by ear. Yeah.
What scale do you think Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page was writing in? You know, I'm looking at the picture of Jimmy Page back there. You know, or any of them. You know, is Brian May sitting there thinking about what mode he's going to modulate to, and "We Will Rock You" when he's doing that solo? Like,
No.
I doubt it. You're just playing what you play and sort of playing from the heart. You know, it's as many tools as you can have in your toolbox is great, but I don't think it's more important than the emotion and the passion.
Yeah. So like when you're just about to play a solo, are you what's going through your mind? Are you sort of thinking about where the scale is going to go, or are you thinking is it all just spontaneous?
I'm like a blank. It's like just blank, empty space in my mind when I'm playing guitar. It's like, it's almost, I don't want to say meditative because it's too much energy for something like that, but I'm never thinking about the scale or the key. If I'm recording, I sure am. But if I'm playing and improvising, I'm really like, it's the furthest thing from my mind.
All feel.
All feel. 100%, even the fast stuff. I just sort of like, my fingers do what they do, and it's a test of muscle memory, I think, to just go out there and say, like, just trust your ability, trust your practice, trust your instincts, and just say, these guys know what to do, this knows what to do. Turn this off, lock it up, throw away the key. Nothing good, I think, comes from up here when you're really, like, if you're soloing, if you're doing stuff, if you're thinking about, like, okay, well, it's an E, so then I can go here and there and there. The audience is going to sense that. They're going to know that.
Of course.
So your audience is more intelligent than that. Like, give them that show and practice all that stuff at home so you can switch it off, and your muscle, because the muscle memory is only there if you put it there. You know
That's
what I mean?
true. Yeah.
So don't just trust your instincts if you haven't put in the work.
Well, Nita Strauss, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we're looking forward to your class.
I'm excited.